This is Larry Jordan, the host of the Digital Production Buzz. The following interview is an excerpt from a recent program. To hear the entire program, visit digitalproductionbuzz.com. Carlos Grijalva and Rob Tharp are co-founders of Grijalva Films, a San Diego-based production house specializing in aerial cinematography and unique camera perspectives using drones. What makes them unique is that they started their production company right out of high school. Hello, Carlos. Hello, Rob. How you doing?
Great. How are you doing?
How's it going?
I'm looking forward to talking to you guys because there's a lot of stuff about drones that I don't understand that I need your opinions on. Carlos, I'm going to start with you. Why did you decide to start Grijalva Films?
Well, straight out of high school, when I was in my senior year, I wanted to be a filmmaker. I kind of realized it. And I was like, I could either go to LA and be like a starving artist for a while, or I can start my company and try to make money and then go to LA and have a little money to back me up beforehand.
And did you and Rob start it together, or did one of you start first and the other came in shortly thereafter?
Yeah, I started it first and Rob came out after that.
Well,
He was actually, Carlos booked a wedding, and I ended up joining the team, and the synergy between us was pretty amazing, and now we're here.
well, one of the things that I read about is that you guys specialize in doing drone cinematography. Rob,
Yes.
What got you interested in working with drones, besides the fact they fly and they're small and they go strange places?
Well, apart from that, I find it an amazing tool for a filmmaker, especially when, telling a story and to really motivate that story with movement. And I found that an interesting concept. And, both of us, we've always been huge tech nerds, and that, was a large contributing factor. And, with that, besides getting amazing cinematic shots and, the technical aspects behind it, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun and a great way to tell a story through a different medium that, people aren't really used to. So,
Carlos, what projects have you and your team worked on? I know from Rob's comment you started with a wedding, but it seems like it's expanded since then. What have you doing?
Yeah, we worked on a couple of things, feature films. We tend to do the beginning sequences and the end sequences for the film. People like Ariel a lot for that. Do a lot of weddings. We do commercial work as well, corporate videos. What else?
Well, one of our recent projects, we were working with the Port Authority of San Diego, actually doing
Surveying.
Construction surveys. They had some development projects for 2015. So basically with our presentation piece with the aerial of demonstrating what would soon to be, the construction at the sites, we helped get them funding. So, for the project. So yeah, we're all over the place.
That's really cool because it's a way of using videography without creating a feature film that can solve problems that are really hard to solve elsewhere. Are you finding more of your business is coming from filmmakers or more of your business coming from outside the traditional film industry?
Yeah, most of it's actually outside the traditional industry. We've been working on some interesting projects with construction. That's been huge. And then just
real estate.
Real estate actually is pretty big as well. There's
different
a lot
perspective of the homes. It's very engaging.
So those are the two main platforms for aerial, with the construction surveys and the real estate, and then also for feature films. That's
with the features, are you doing the entire feature, or are people calling you in as the expert in aerial cinematography and you're just doing the aerial shots, Carlos?
Just the aerial shots.
Is that
Well, kind of both, actually. We have basically two projects that we're actually producing right now. One is, it's called Losing in Love. We're actually, there's 22 days of shooting. We're about 18 days in. We're working with a great writer-director up in Los Angeles, Martin Papazian. He actually has a film on Netflix right now called Least Among Saints. So we partnered with him to make this. It's been a total labor of love and getting the whole thing together. So that's been a beautiful project. And then another feature that's in pre-production right now called When. So those 2 projects, and then all of our corporate commercial work. So definitely a lot to keep us busy with.
Well, what are you flying? Let's talk gear. Switch to hardware. What are we looking at?
So there's a couple. Our manufacturer of choice is actually DJI. It's basically the leading drone manufacturer right now. So really, it's contingent on the application. So depending on what we're doing, like for instance, let's say we're doing a wedding. It's a sensitive event. We want to be respectful of of course there's some noise issues and things like that, and we don't want to intrude. So with that, we would use the DJI Phantom 3. It was announced a couple months back. Basically with that, it actually has a proprietary camera on it. It's integrated, shoots 4K, beautiful, beautiful cinematic quality. So that we've been really happy with.
Log mode.
It actually, has log mode as well. So for the colorist out there, it's definitely preferred. And then, for other platforms, if it's something with high speed, there's the DJI Inspire, the Inspire 1. That was released about a year ago. There's a big update that just came out with the new gimbal. The gimbal is basically a three-axis gyro-stabilized device that basically, as you fly, counteracts the movements of the drone to allow for a very stable shot. And with that, they just released a new gimbal for the Inspire that allows for micro Four Thirds mount lenses. So we're really excited about that. That comes out, I believe, in the next month or 2. So we're on the waiting list. and then going larger, then there's the DJI S1000. That's with an octocopter, and you can fly a Red Epic. A couple months ago there was a video with the Phantom Flex 4K. It was the first one flown on it was the DJI S1000. So there's some amazing technology out there. There's a couple different manufacturers. There's 3D Robotics that's actually here in San Diego, actually down in Chula Vista. And there's just new ones, springing up every day.
So how many drones do you actually own, or do you rent them when you need them?
We own 3, and then depending, if there's a larger application for, an S1000 or something like that, we'll rent it. But, otherwise, actually, the Phantom, it's been a remarkable choice, and that's what we've done a lot of our work on.
So now that we've got the camera mounted to the drone, what video formats do you tend to shoot?
So right as we got started, a lot of it was 1080-60. So we were doing a lot of, slow motion, converting it down. Now it's primarily 4K, 24 frames a second in log mode. So the color's phenomenal. It's actually a flat lens. It's about a 16 millimeter equivalent. So there's, minimal distortion. It's, pretty amazing stuff of what's, currently being integrated.
Are you able to see the image while you're flying the drone, or are you just sort of winging it, so to speak?
No, you're actually able to see it on the iPhone, iPad. I think you can connect to the computer too. Yeah, so with the Inspire, what's amazing about that, and the Phantom as well, you can do live streaming straight from the drone, to your tablet or mobile device. Essentially, it's called an FPV, first-person view system, and you can also output via HDMI and broadcast on something as large as the Jumbotron in 1080p. So you can't stream 4K yet, but 1080 is still remarkable. So it's amazing stuff.
Okay, so now let's shift gears to one more. We've got the hardware, we've got the software. A client comes to you with a new project. What process, what workflow do you go through to record with the drone? What permits do you need? What permissions do you need to get? What are the rules that you have to follow?
So right now, at least as in the state of California, the main rule is you have to keep it under 399 feet. So as for permitting, there's currently none. The FAA has, basically legislation under review right now by the federal government. So that's going through, its rounds right now. So that the legislation that's coming out with the FAA, it's planned. It's supposed to be February. There may be some delays. And so that actually is pretty straightforward, and we're excited about it. With that, it will allow for a commercial license and an airworthiness certificate for your drone. So if it's under 55 pounds, which most the professional platforms are, you'll be able to move forward with your license as early as 2016. So we're excited about that. But currently, it's as long as you stay with under 400 feet, you're clear. In some different states, there's there's local legislation that prevents you from flying. Like in New York, there's some issues right now. There was a bill up last week that was actually vetoed that was basically going to make it impossible to fly under 350 feet. So with that, we wouldn't be able to actually take off. But that was vetoed. That was knocked off.
They're so smart.
So we're still in the clear right now. So until some actual legislation comes forth, planned for 2016, right now people are doing as they please. What's great about DJI though, in respects to safety, it's all through GPS technology. So what it is, they have a map, and with that, there's an airport registry. So as you get close to an airport, it will prohibit you from taking off. And then as you back away, it will place a height cap. And then once you get out of that radius, you're fine to fly, it's up to the 399 feet. But if you get close to the airport, there's, some provisions that you have to abide by.
Well, that gets to an interesting question. In the interface that you use to fly the drone, are you able to see your altitude and your position, or do you just have to guess where 400 feet is?
All the
altitude, position, speed, ascent speed, descent speed. You can even see yourself on the map. So you can click on the map, on the little map icon, comes up, and you can see where the drone is, and you can see where you are, respect to the drone, and it can also tell you how far away you are from the drone.
So all the telemetry data, it's all there.
So the reason I'm asking is there's a lot of discussion now about drones interfering with aircraft operations. Since August 1, there's been 70 complaints of near misses filed with the FAA, none of which are your fault, I want to stress. Also, drones preventing firefighting equipment from doing fire drops because they're interfering with air operations. Is it a true statement then that the drone operator really does know where they are? Or can they plead ignorance that I don't know where I am and I'm just made a mistake? How do we prevent amateur drone people from screwing up the entire industry, preventing guys like you from earning a living?
What's so unfortunate is, we found a lot of the commercial users that actually do it professionally are very, very responsible. And then you do see those cases of the typical recreational user, some pleading ignorance or not. But, they have full control over it. And it's really just a matter of common sense to not either, interfere with law enforcement. There has been some of those cases, and, not to interfere with aircraft. And with the new updates, prohibiting, flight near the airports, that's been a huge advantage. So really, a lot of it comes down to common sense, but, it is unfortunate that, the recreational users, are inhibiting, what commercial users, are wanting to do.
Yeah, I don't think that's really an excuse either. You know where you are when you're flying.
Yeah. There's
no way that, that's, you know where you are on a map, you know where you are because you can see the city down below. And you should be at line of sight as well. Like you should be able to see your drone. That's
a huge thing with the upcoming FAA regulations. As long as you have to be within line of sight of the drone, because these drones, you can rig them out. They could go miles. It's really, depends on your setup. But the FAA recommends stay within line of sight, and that's really the safest practice to abide by.
I've got a live chat going, and we've got a couple of questions. Caesar is asking that he wonders if clients are asking for drone shots because they want them, or if they're trying to pitch using a drone shot to their client. Are you having trouble selling the concept of an aerial shot to your clients?
They love it.
They love it. Whether it's the client seeking it or, they're just trying to use it as a gimmick, either way, people get really excited about it. It's some really cinematic stuff, and it's really useful, especially for surveying purposes, regardless of whatever industry you're in. There's some...
It adds a lot of power to your videos. Yeah. Just like a lot of it just gives it an extra little spice over the seasoning. I don't know. It's good.
Jeff is on the live chat's asking, he says, I have clients ask me for drone shots, but most are for real estate and some for action sports. For me, it's a fairly limited environment. It sounds like you're working within a very limited environment in terms of its real estate or its surveying or its filmmaking, but there's a lot of interest within those groups. Is that a true statement?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's definitely interest within those groups, and there's actually some for instance with agriculture, with farms, that's a huge thing as well. We're looking to get into, and also for surveying for the power companies. They actually just got a FAA 333 exemption to actually go out and survey the power lines. It saves time, manpower, I mean, it's just, it's innovation.
Rob, where can people go on the web to get more information about you and your company and hire you for your services?
You're going to want to check out grijalvafilms.com. It's Grijalva films.com. And it's where you would go to find more information about us.
And Carlos Grijalva and Rob Tharp are the co-founders of Grijalva Films. Gentlemen, it's been fun visiting. Thanks so much for your time today.
Thank you, Larry.
Take care. Bye-bye. If you'd like to see more videos like this one, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. To stay connected and receive updates from The Buzz, sign up for our free weekly newsletter now. Or you can learn more about us on our website. And thanks for watching The Digital Production Buzz.